Wahoo fruit, scientifically known as Euonymus atropurpuris, occupies a very unusual position in the botanical history of North America. Although it produces strikingly beautiful fruit clusters, it is not cultivated as food and has never belonged to any mainstream agricultural tradition. Instead, it exists as a plant of mystery, decorative, medicinal, toxic, and symbolic. This uncommon combination makes Wahoo one of the most thought-provoking wild fruits of the eastern United States. Botanically speaking, Wahoo is a deciduous shrub or small tree that thrives in woodland margins, riverbanks, shaded slopes, and transitional forest environments. Its range historically covered the Great Lakes Basin, the Mississippi Valley, and interior woodlands extending into Tennessee, West Virginia, Iowa, and parts of Oklahoma. Compared to edible forest fruits such as mulberry, pawpaw, or persimmon, Wahoo always stood outside the culinary sphere. Its value was never based on flavor, it was based on the chemical properties held inside its bark, roots, and fruit. When the fruit matures in late autumn, it becomes visually dramatic. The seed capsule is typically a deep pink magenta tone, rigid and segmented into 4 lobes. When temperatures drop and the capsule splits, bright orange seeds dangle outward, almost like ornaments hanging from a delicate branch. This ornamental structure became so appealing to early settlers that during the late 1800s and early 1900s, Wahoo was planted intentionally in landscaped gardens for its fall aesthetic. Many Victorian botanical illustrations depict Wahoo fruit because it provided vibrant contrast against late fall foliage. However, the bright appearance is deceptive, the fruit is toxic and considered strongly purgative. The compounds inside the plant, including glycosides and alkaloid-type chemicals, were historically classified as cardiac stimulants. If consumed in large amounts, the berries can induce nausea, irregular pulse, dehydration, and systemic weakness. But paradoxically, when controlled and administered by knowledgeable practitioners, these same compounds became part of early American pharmacology. Long before standardized pharmaceuticals existed, indigenous tribes recognized Wahoo as a medicinal plant. They used bark extracts and controlled preparations to create tonic remedies believed to regulate appetite, improve digestion, and assist in liver-related ailments. Because indigenous medicine was based on observational and empirical traditions, usage of Wahoo was careful, measured, and respectful. The fruit itself was rarely ingested because its toxicity was understood culturally and practically. When early physicians and botanists began compiling herbal pharmacopoeias between 1810 and 1890, Wahoo was included as a legitimate botanical ingredient. Apothecary formulas labeled it as a hepatic stimulant and a metabolic regulator at a time when digestive diseases, fevers, and systemic inflammations were widespread. Early American medical books often describe Wahoo not as a dramatic remedy, but as a slow-acting alterative, meaning a compound that gradually influences physiological processes. It became a notable ingredient in tinctures, especially those prescribed for constipation, bile imbalance, or general sluggish circulation. The bark of Wahoo was once commercially harvested and sold to pharmacies. Dried extracts were shipped in small labeled packets. Its medicinal reputation reached such prominence that chemical researchers attempted to isolate its active compounds. The most referenced molecules were euonymin and other glycosidic agents believed to influence cardiac output and bile secretion. Today, scientific interest has resurfaced, not in search of edible relevance, but to reevaluate early medicinal claims. Modern pharmacology is investigating whether historical testimonials align with measurable biochemical effects. Even though consumption as food remains unsafe, the plant's unique chemistry continues to attract researchers. Aside from the medicinal narrative, Wahoo also gained symbolic meaning in rural folklore. Because its fruit appears at the threshold between autumn and winter, indigenous traditions connected it with seasonal transition. Some accounts associate the orange seeds with symbolic resilience, as birds could eat them even when other food sources diminished. Birds are the primary dispersers of the seeds, helping the plant spread naturally across forest edges. Songbirds and migratory species consume the fruit pulp and excrete viable seeds, ensuring regeneration. This ecological role is critical because Wahoo often grows during early forest succession phases. When land was abandoned after agricultural clearance, Wahoo frequently emerged as one of the first shrub-level indicators of returning woodland. In restoration ecology today, the presence of Wahoo sometimes signals a recovering woodland border, representing habitat layering where shrubs precede canopy tree dominance. From a horticultural standpoint, modern landscapers still plant Wahoo, not for edible purposes, but because few shrubs offer such striking autumn visuals. The structure of its fruit resembles decorative lanterns or miniature capsules suspended from thin stems, a visual phenomenon that becomes especially appealing in filtered sunlight. Combined with dark green leaves that turn burgundy in late fall, the visual identity of Wahoo carries a strong ornamental quality. The plant also influenced European botanical naming conventions. The term euonymus originates from Greek meaning good-named or well-named. Ironically, many plants belonging to this genus are toxic. This contrast has historically been noted in botanical commentary, adding to the plant's enigmatic cultural presence. Ultimately, Wahoo Fruit stands at a unique crossroads between biochemistry, folklore, history, horticulture, and ecology. It is not a fruit meant to be eaten, and never will be part of modern diets. Instead, its intrigue lies in what it represents: a plant that shaped medicinal practices, marked seasonal cycles, influenced landscape design, and supported bird-based forest regeneration. It embodies the idea that not all fruits exist for human consumption. Some fruits exist as ecological instruments, medicinal artifacts, or seasonal signals. And Wahoo captures that beautifully.